Welcome back. Most ranchers understand the importance of managing their resources, but it's not always clear how to go about building a conservation plan. That's where the experts at the Natural Resources Conservation Service can lend a hand to farmers and ranchers looking to improve their land. We have more from Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter in Montana.
In the foothills of the Snowy Mountains in central Montana, the Lee Ranch is home to Bob and Kathy Lee. Their care for the land here has resulted in benefits to their natural resources, to the wildlife, and to the ranch's bottom line.
We're located in central Montana in a foothill region at an elevation of 5,400 feet. Kathy and I started in 1969 by buying our first 880 acres. It was a piece of ground that had some issues. Since then, we have put together 5 different ranches. They've all had their special needs or concerns. The first thing we always do is inventory it, adjust to what we think we can get done this year, and have some long-term goals to how we can make it better.
Bob understands that his ranch must be both functional and profitable to be sustainable for the long term. That's an understanding he shares with Jason Weller, chief of the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service, or NRCS, who visited to see Bob's ranch firsthand. The NRCS has helped Bob with a number of improvement projects. These projects, along with Bob's commitment to conservation, resulted in the Lee Ranch receiving the Environmental Stewardship Award in 1996.
Conservation is very important. Conservation happens every day on this ranch. Conservation is a pretty big umbrella. A lot of things can happen underneath that umbrella.
What we offer when we come on an operation, a ranching operation, is that expertise and that background in soil conservation. And then what are some different management techniques that we can offer to that rancher to improve the health of the foundation of their business, in this case, their soil systems, which ultimately then is going to be the foundation for their vegetation, their forage, for their livestock, which is then going to help them be both more resistant to environmental stress, so whether that's going to be drought or very wet periods or wildfire or disease or invasive weed, exotic weed pressures that's coming in. Having healthy soils and having a healthy forage plant base is going to be the key to survive those kind of natural cyclical events.
They're so excited to be part of what we do, taking a resource, our grazing lands, converted it into high protein red meat for the consumer, and we still have the resource year after year after year. This is not a one and done situation, cattle ranching and cattle grazing. You work year after year so you can maintain what we have to take care of.
By working with NRCS, ranch owners and managers are able to plan and apply conservation practices that will improve rangeland health and soil health in ways that build resiliency into their operations. For 80 years, the NRCS has worked with landowners to maintain healthy and productive working ranches.
So my job is to really, first and foremost, be an advocate and really to articulate what it is, the value of ag conservation, its value in a working landscape, and ultimately the value it is for a family in keeping them on their operations. It's about sustainable agriculture. It's about not just the sustainability of the resource, but really in this case, the sustainability of the economics of that family operation, that family farm, that family ranch, so that they're here year after year, not just year after year, but decade after decade and generation after generation. To me, that's really what sustainable agriculture is about. We really view ourselves as partners in that familial relationship, but really then we can also come in with some little bit of financial help and incentivize some conservation practices, ultimately to help that producer on their conservation journey and ultimately help them to be as sustainable as possible.
Water development was a major priority for Bob Lee and NRCS. By installing 13 water storage tanks on the ranch, Bob was able to better distribute cattle grazing across all of his land. This worked to increase soil health and protect delicate riparian areas by keeping cattle drinking from tanks instead of the streams.
Take, for example, this pasture we're in right now. This is pasture 14. All of Blake Creek starts in this pasture right here. So needless to say, we have a very important riparian area. Cattle, they have to have water, but they will drink out of an open storage tank, a 10-foot fiberglass tank, before they drink out of the stream. So we develop water in the uplands, in other words, outside of those riparian areas. In the afternoons, in the evenings, those cattle go out and above the riparian areas, and they eat and graze their way up, have a drink of water, and they lay down, and you get better usage of your pastures.
Bob believes healthy grass and healthy cattle go hand in hand. He knows that proper management and understanding of both the grass and the cattle is essential.
Your grass is your resource. Everything happens with your grass. We have to maintain that grass. So visualize, if you would, the more cattle around a riparian area, the more use it's going to get. But when they're in the uplands, they're harvesting that grass up there. They are working some of the old vegetation into the soil. And with that, we can capture rainwater. Rain is what we always want. So anytime we have soil that can capture water and put it back in the ground without having runoff is very important.
The foundation of your business and your operation starts with your soils. And so to see the health of his soils here, the diversity of his soils, the success he's obviously experiencing here on his ranch, it's because he's treating and protecting and caring for his soils. And ultimately that's then going to carry him forward and help him have a successful and thriving livestock operation.
Plant diversity has contributed to healthy soil, which has created a foundation that continues to feed Bob's productive rangelands. The experts at NRCS helped contribute to the successes the Lees have had in improving the land under their care. For any ranch or farm, the effort begins with the creation of a plan designed to work with existing business and management goals.
So it starts first with understanding what are that business objectives of that family farm, that family ranch, and really understanding where they're at and what their objectives are. We're not here to kind of impose what our views are. We're really here to help listen, first and foremost, what that rancher wants to achieve. And then we start the dialogue and the conversation. And ultimately, we would like that conversation to evolve in what we call a conservation plan, really what we view as the blueprint for that farm or that ranch. And it's the business blueprint. It's really the operating plan for that ranch. But ultimately then, what are the different conservation practices you can build into that blueprint? So whether it's going to be restoring pasture that may be in bad condition, improving the health of a forest stand, improving the water efficiency, the water use on that operation, ultimately helping them save money, ultimately maybe even make more money through better yield, through better health of their cattle.
It's just a great big puzzle that you can just continually evolve and making yourself better. Sustainability, what's sustainability? Taking the best of what you've got and continue to make it better. You're never done. You keep expanding your horizons with the help of other people working together for this greatest gift we have, our grazing lands.
Reporting from the grazing lands of central Montana, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
If you'd like to learn more about how the expertise and cost-sharing programs of the NRCS could help your farm or ranch improve soil health and long-term sustainability, get started by contacting your local NRCS office or visiting the website nrcs.usda.gov.